Hello, this is the GRcade Twitchcast, episode 41. Today, we are with Dark Rula.
Hello there.
Victor Mildew.
Good evening.
And as usual, it's me, Pedz. Right, we have a couple of things we're going to talk about. We have two games specifically that have been mentioned, three really. Actually, yeah. One by Victor, one by Rula, and one by myself. One game is now, two of them already are. Is actually, we start with Farming Simulator. Is it actually out, the new one? Or is it due out?
One, well, it's due out in the fall, so sometime, I'd say about September to November. They announced it last month.
Okay. What got you into farming simulators to start off with? Because thinking, like, a lot of people play sim games, don't get me wrong, but it's usually like The Sims or like Stardew or something a bit like more chill. Not more chill, more I wouldn't say even simple, but it just kind of, because they like small indie games like Stardew, then it kind of has like a different feel. Whereas Farming Simulator, I've played Farming Simulator at 19, I think. And it just seems like a lot of slow plodding along and stuff, you know?
Well, that's just the beauty of it. It's a business management game, but you're not really stressing out over the business management of it.
Right. So you play it because I think in Farming Simulator you can set it to have, you know, your business aspect, but you can also set it so that you don't have to worry about money.
Money is always a factor of it, definitely, but you don't really have to work for it if you don't want to.
That's fair enough.
So what you can do is as long as you've got enough money, you can hire a worker to just work your fields for you. So you really don't have to do anything. You could just sit back and watch them work on your fields.
Thinking about what you just said there then was the workers. When I first played Farming Simulator, I was playing it with my kid. It was online, and he's upstairs, I was downstairs. And I didn't know how to play it, so I came to the first field, I think it was like wheat or something. I don't bloody know. And I was pressing the buttons to do stuff, but I kept, without realising it, pressing a button where you would hire someone to do it, and I didn't realise. I was still sitting in the thing, I think, while I was doing it. And it's like, what's going on? But, So how come you got into the series then? I did ask, and then I interrupted like a naughty person.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I got into it through, I think you've mentioned it before somewhere on the arcade, the Jingle Jam, Yogscast Jingle Jam.
Okay, I know.
The December event that they hold every year. And in 2018, I was watching that stream. The game looked fun, but I didn't actually follow on with it and get it myself. I mean, I'd looked. Farming Simulator 17 was on Game Pass, but I didn't take the jump until almost a year later, when I decided to re-watch that stream, because I was getting nostalgic for it, you know, and I decided to then bite the bullet and see for myself if I'd enjoy it. I mean, it was still on Game Pass, so no loss if I didn't. And I just find I bought 17 on the Switch as well as 19, and then just hundreds of hours went into every one of them.
Sorry about the delay there. I was having a very big deep breath. With Farming Simulator, have you played more than just one of the games?
Well, I'm currently playing 15, which I bought yesterday to see how going backward feel.
Yeah.
So I played 17 originally, then I bought 19, which is the one I'm currently playing while on streams. And then, as I say, yeah, yesterday I bought 15 to see what it was like previously.
I was only asking because I wanted to know how the games have evolved over the years, or because with
Yeah.
no experience of other than the hour or two I played with my son, I was unsure if there's like a big step up from previous games, and I don't mean like visually. I mean like maybe more things you can do, more technical stuff. Even though it's obviously a relaxing farming game,
Yeah.
can you have more things that you couldn't, and is it more refined?
Well, they kind of did refine several of the systems in the games, but each and every one seems to do something different, kind of. So, in the game, you can do jobs for other farmers and help them with their farms, and each game seems to do that differently. So
Okay.
before 19, you'd have to find a field or a job board, and then you'd get teleported to that field, and it would be a set amount of time. Whereas with 19, you're free to just accept a job and then waste time. You're not timed on it, you can just do whatever, even when accepting a job. So if you really wanted, even though you'd incur a fine, you could take all of their stuff and sell it on for yourself.
That's the way I'd play it if I knew you could.
Yeah.
But the newest one has been announced now. Last month, you said.
Yeah, last month.
Was it just an announcement or any trailers? Because I'm wondering what new things have they shown. What can they add to a farming simulator to change things up?
It was just the announcement, but within the announcement, they did say they're working to make it the most realistic simulation.
Okay.
So they've been working on their engine and stuff. They're going to be adding new crops, new vehicles like we do every year. And also, there's going to be seasons in the game for the first time. Officially, not through a mod.
Okay, do you think that would make the game more of a challenge then? But do you think it might remove some of the relaxation aspect of it because you're stressing about getting the right crops at the right bloody time?
Well, obviously they're keeping quiet about it, but I don't think it's going to change that much about the game. Obviously, you might see more different growth depending on the season. I'm pretty sure winter we might have to clear snow from the fields if that happens, if the crops get snowy, because there's already weeds in the game, so maybe something like that for winter with the snow. I don't know if there's a
winter time, all you could do is mess with specific animals because nothing grows in the winter.
Oh yeah,
obviously it does, but I'm just
yeah, they definitely seem to be doing something new with the animals as well. What they're doing, no idea, but the one screenshot did show off a cow pasture that looked as though the building had a lot of different things in it that we've never seen before in a farming simulator game.
So with the cattle and stuff, then can you just milk them, or are you actually able to chuck them in the meat grinder?
Well, you can't chuck them in a meat grinder.
I was just. I don't mean literal. I'm not that much of a monster.
I mean,
Or
you
am I?
can pretend to. You can get your chainsaw out and pretend to be cutting them, but it's not going to do anything. But yeah, the
So,
animal system's kind of weird because you just get the animals and the accrue product automatically as long as they're fed, and that also includes more animals being bred.
so I guess you don't have to shove your hand up a cow's backside or anything.
No, no, no.
Maybe I won't buy it then.
Well, to be honest, being Welsh, I need to know the most important thing about Farming Simulator, and is, can you shag the sheep?
You can pretend to. There's a crouch button.
Have you played any of the farming simulators then, Victor?
I've played very briefly. I don't know if you saw in the chat. I used to work at Mad Cats, the SciTech side of it. I worked with and still work with, coincidentally, the guy who designed the Farm Sim. They did an official licensed Farm Sim wheel, which was like a tractor wheel, and it had a side panel which had like a little arm control stick on it and buttons and stuff. So when that went through, I forget the company that makes them, but they were really the company that makes the games was so nice. They were like the nicest people. I think it was a German company, and they flew over to come to the offices, and they just brought tons of farm sim like stuff with them, like like joke mugs and like cardboard hay bales and loads of copies of the game for everyone. But I didn't take the game because I thought it was better going to somebody who would properly play it, because I'd have probably installed it and maybe given it a couple of goes. But I did see quite a bit of playtime going on. So the guy that was designing it, it was really interesting because they had to, understandably, understand this, see what sort of things the player needs in it. So he was playing it quite a lot, and he took it home with him and came back in on the Monday. He goes, "Do you know, I've played that all weekend, and I ended up spending money on DLC. I think he got a mobile version as well. He ended up buying stuff to feed his cows and things." It's interesting you mentioned Stardew earlier, because it's kind of, it's that type, from what I can gather anyway, it seems to be that type of game, just in a different guise. It's very much tend your thing and grow your property and grow stuff. It looks quite good fun. I think it's one of those things that I would probably play a few times and enjoy my time with it, but I probably wouldn't go back. Like Stardew, I didn't really get that into that. But
No?
the time I did spend with it, I probably played it for about a week. The time I did spend, I really enjoyed it.
The little I played of Farming Simulator, it seems a bit more complex than Stardew, but it also seems to be simply focused on the farming aspect, whereas Stardew obviously he has a more fantastical element of the monster stuff. Then you also have like building relationships with people, so there's a little bit more there other than just the farming. But from what little I played of Farming Simulator, the farming stuff is more extensive.
Yeah,
seems to be a lot more to it. But
It looks good. I mean, I don't know if fun's the word, because it's not the type of game that I normally play, but I'm envious of you, Ruler. I say this about like people who are into things like Pokemon and that, and just love certain types of game. I tend to play the same sort of thing all the time. I'd love to have something like that was so different that I could really, really get into, but just I don't tend to be adventurous enough to try things like that. But it sounds like you have a great time with it.
Yes.
do you have a lot of fun with it, or like, because obviously it's a very relaxed game, or was it just something you sit down, bang some music on, and just chill? Kind of like people do with Truck Simulator or an American Truck Simulator, just chilling, driving.
It's kind of that kind of chill game where you just sit down with it, sow a field or harvest a field while watching videos or just listening to music. But sometimes, I'll take an hour or two, just sit down and really focus on the game itself.
Nice.
And other times I'll just be doing random stuff, not even bothering to farm.
What else can you do in it other than farming then?
Well, you just make up your own stuff, really, like explore the map and see where you can get to. Just drive around, crashing into vehicles, even though they're about massively weighty, so they don't go anywhere. But you can even grab a chainsaw and just cut down every single tree that you see.
Shame you can't cut down people. Farming
Oh,
Simulator
yeah,
Cannibal Edition.
I've tried. And I remember Cricken telling me, can you run people over? So I attempted that. You can't.
Do you go through them, or do they bounce off, bounce off them or something, or you just can't
You just
actually do
phase
it?
through one. You just phase through one. As
That's
if
not
they're
fair.
ghosts.
That's not fair. You want to ram people?
No.
You should be able to ram people. You should be able to
Yeah.
go past them with a bulldozer. I don't know why a bulldozer. I don't think they're in a farm. But with a bulldozer and run them over and make them as flat as a pancake.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, but Farming Simulator, I like I said, I've only played briefly, so you were literally the person here who can be more in depth about it and things like that. But
Yeah.
to be honest, I still trying to think what can they add to a new one to differentiate it from the previous games, because like unless they do different, they could obviously do different areas, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
let's do some farming on the Antarctic.
Oh, that would be fun. What am I growing today then? Ice cubes, or ice cubes?
Exactly.
You bludgeon people to death with the ice.
Yeah, that's the only thing you'll be able to do. Them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way to do it. Have you got anything else to add on this? Because, to be honest, I'm unsure what else I personally can say about it, but you can say as much as you like.
Oh, no, we can go on to other games. I'll be here talking for hours, I'll bet.
You oh yeah, really? Are you a member of a community with that? Is there a farm sim group that you
No, I'm pretty much lone ranging it. No visiting other people for me. No part of any communities or anything for it.
When you say you know
don't-
visiting other people, do you mean just like, let's jump in a co-op game, or are you able online go and visit other people's farms, like drive to another person's farm?
You can't drive because obviously it's all on the same map. But with multiplayer you can set up servers, so multiple people, you can have multiple farms on one map that people can just join. So
Okay.
one person is a admin, they can dole out different farms to people, and then everyone can just go crazy on one map.
That's cool. Have you actually tried it then, or?
No. As I say though, that's what the Yogscast do with Jingle Jam for their farming streams.
Trying to think, what other things could you do with the community? Can you run over other people who are playing?
No. The people are stronger than you, your tractors.
No, so you try and run them over, just pick them up and throw them away. Get away, this tractor.
Yeah.
I'm tough.
People are pretty much brick walls. You try driving into them, you're the one getting hurt.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to ask about the game, Victor?
No, just I enjoy seeing your Twitter things on it as well. It's nice seeing different types of games outside of my little bubble of the same old I always play.
definitely, yeah.
Do I know you also have a blog, Rula. Do you put your stuff for Farming Simulator on there, or is it a different? Or do you use the blog
Well,
differently? Like,
I did talk about the announcement of 422 on it,
okay,
and I'll be talking about 15 on there in a few days, which pretty much will mean I've talked about every farming simulator game that I've played.
do you want to plug your blog for people to check it out?
Yes, you can go to darkrulamedia.uk. That's DARKRULA and then media.uk. There's plenty of gaming related stuff on there. I'm going to be posting on Twitter a repost looking back at Mario Kart, because I did a series 2 years back where I was looking at different ideas for how you can do a new Mario Kart. And with E3 coming up, you know.
Well, I would say, Mario Kart is something we could all talk about, but if you're going to be doing something about it first, do that, and then we'll talk about it another time if you want.
These are all posts that are already on there.
Oh, right. So what kind of ideas have you suggested then? I know we're supposed to be talking about something else next, but I'm interested to hear about Mario Kart, because I love Mario. I love and hate Mario Kart.
Oh, we all do. Well, one of the things I suggested is a different way of doing the Grand Prix. So you know how you've got 8 cups in every Mario Kart game, and you just go through them. I kind of suggested a new way of doing that, which is kind of like a triangle system. So you have 4 tracks at the bottom, and then 3, 2, and 1, and then you just have to work your way up the ladder by racing on the tracks at the bottom, and then work your way up.
Like the outrun progress thing, like that.
Kind of, yeah. I was pretty much inspired with that by a little-known game called Wheelspin on the Wii, which kind of did the same thing.
Wheelspin? I don't think I've heard of
it. That one.
Yeah, it was a little-known game by... I can't think of who did it, but it was very terrible. It was one of the only games to try 8-player multiplayer on the Wii. And you can imagine how well that went.
I'm laughing because it just sounds funny going, yeah, I took this idea from this game. The game was crap. If I can understand what you're saying, it's like some ideas in games can be good. They can just be executed badly, or other aspects of the game, like the gameplay itself, could be bad.
It wasn't so much that that idea in particular was bad. It was the driving physics.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's just funny when you turn around and go, it was a bad game, because it just sounds funny, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But like obviously, like I like saying, like there are certain aspects of bad games, like they could try something that no other game has tried, and they could execute it badly. But it could be a good idea. Just someone needs to implement it better. Kind of like some other games I can't think of right now.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Mario Kart then, Victor? Because obviously you are more of a racing fan than myself. So obviously some of these ideas that Rula may have is something that you could connect with more on because you like racing games.
Yeah, I've always loved a bit of Mario Kart. It's like you have got a bit of a love-hate with it. Like I don't tend to sit and, well, not anymore anyway. I don't tend to sit and go, right, I'm just going to sit and play Mario Kart. It's very much a multiplayer only. I don't tend to just sit and go through career stuff unless I've just bought the game or something. But it definitely does need some sort of shake-up, I think. Like,
Well,
it's a good idea to be saying to look at the way the Grand Prix structure works, because what they tend to do is just have the tracks, and then try and dick around with the way the cars work, or adding some sort of weird gimmick. Whereas really, there's as much to be gained by shaking up the way the tracks work. I mean, why can't they have point-to-point races, or like an outrun style? Choose your route through the thing and try and get to the end. Just some sort of different mode that could be interesting.
yeah. To be honest, the like Mario Kart is my favorite karting series for its multiplayer. But I have played Diddy Kong Racing, and the story mode in that, the main single player part, is so much more interesting than just let's do 4 races, then another 4 races, then another 4 races. It just it needs something, and I genuinely think. Well, I say they need something. They're not going to do anything because it sells so well.
I know.
Mario Kart DS was it? I think it was had a mission mode.
Mission mode, yes.
I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it was a nice thing to have. I mean,
Step in the right direction.
Yeah, I wish they'd kind of like. I mean, a lot of it was just like collect the coins and stuff. I mean, I don't know what you could really add to it. That's up to them.
I mean, you really just need to expand it, don't you? With new stuff to do.
But interesting stuff and stuff that's a challenge. But a fun challenge to do. Just like you say, because I don't sit and play it because the only thing to do is to just pick a cup and then do 4 races. There's nothing beyond the core gameplay. There's nothing to do in it.
Yeah, that's why it's a multiplayer game for me. Pretty much through and through. Like I'll play the single player when it comes out, and then I'll just play the multiplayer online, like we used to do with GRcade on Mondays. Years of Mario Kart on Monday and Friday. Like the only reason why I've done any of the Grand Prix in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is because me and the other half have just done like the Grand Prix and played together, kind of like tried to take each other out and stuff. But otherwise, it's just it's not lazy, but it feels like it's lazy, if that makes sense. It's like, we'll just make a load of tracks, do the same Grand Prix, and then that's it. I'm not saying that's not hard to do, and that, but like it's like they don't really put any thought into it. Like Shigeru Miyamoto has stopped some games from coming, and some people have said like, "Oh, we're not bringing out an F-Zero because there's nothing new we can bring to it." Well, to be honest, apart from your little gimmicks of you can now have a sail, I can't remember what it's called, glider. You can have a glider, or you've got this anti-gravity aspect, which realistically does nothing. It doesn't actually change anything. It just, you're still on the road. It doesn't like make you look like you're upside down. It makes you look like you're,
nothing.
Exactly. So the Mario Kart obviously sells really well, and that's why they're bringing it out. But there's nothing really new that's coming with it. So why is there no F-Zero? Because, they're not revolutionizing Mario Kart in any way, shape, or form. Even the online is fucking janky.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I remember that one incident we had where the blue cell hit both of us, and yet neither of us got hit technically with it.
Yeah, I remember that. I also remember a time where I was hit by a blue shell, while Hypes was hit by a blue shell, and it took him out. But I got hit by the blast, and it turns out Hypes was actually on a different part of the track when you got hit by the blue shell. So I shouldn't have been taken out because I was nowhere near the blue shell.
Yeah. It's very weird.
Yeah. Nintendo make great games a lot of the time, but man, they're behind on some things. Yeah, well. Was there any other ideas you had? If you want to talk about them before we move over to something else.
I did give my basic thoughts on how to do some new tracks. So like there was Rainbow Road. You've obviously got the staple of that, but no Rainbow Road has ever taken advantage of the road part of the name. So you just have a marathon track, get from one end to the other, but there's a load of twists, turns, hard parts to the track. And instead of doing 3 laps, it's just literally get from one end to the other.
I get you. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think Rainbow Road is. I remember on the very first Super Nintendo one, was that
Awesome.
Rainbow Road was. I mean, it was bastard hard, but it was because it looked really special. Because that's probably the best the Super Nintendo could have done at the time. It was a real treat to get to it, and a novelty. Because like, oh my god, look at this track. But then they put it in the other ones. But as the tracks and the graphics have got better and things, there seems to be less. It's just not special. I don't. It's supposed to be this big grand finale to the game, really, and just apart from the color of the track, this doesn't seem to really do anything. So, like you say, Rula, why can't it break from you're probably thinking of something like is it Mount Wario,
Yeah.
something like that. Just the way that it's got a real point-to-point special feel to it.
One thing I like about Rainbow Road on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart 8 is the N64 one, because I just think it's fucking awesome on there. I just wish it was more than 1 lap.
Yes. Why
Because,
they made it one lap?
People think it's too long, and fair enough, if it's too long, fair enough. Just take it 2 laps. 1 lap is not enough.
2 laps.
Also, the music is amazing.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we never get to hear all of it, because by the time you get halfway along the course, a final lap has begun.
Exactly. That is an issue. Also, if you do it on 200cc, it's done within 2 seconds.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
if you ain't falling off the track every 2 seconds, that is.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to Wreckfest? As we were talking about Mario Kart, we can go straight into another racing game.
Yeah.
Have both of you played it, or just Victor?
I've played it.
Cool.
Yeah.
This can be a tidy conversation then. Because I've only played it for like 2 seconds, and then I was like, I'm bothered.
I've had my eye on it for ages because it was in early access for a long time. It's pretty much built around it's almost a game built around the card defamation or defamation. I don't know what you call it. It's pretty much they made that first and then built a game around it. So I've been looking at it for a long time on the PC, especially because it's by Bugbear, who made the Flat Out series.
Yes, that was what.
Amazing fun.
Yeah, that was what attracted me to it.
Pedz, have you ever played Flat Out?
I have played Flat Out once. I specifically bought her on PC to play with a load of people from GRcade. I think it was GRcade. Yeah, it was GRcade. Either GRcade or Games Radar. It was one of the two. And I played it there once, and I don't think I ever played it again. Which is a shame, because it seemed pretty fun.
The good thing is it's like a sort of Destruction Derby-esque thing, but the actual core racing feel is really solid. It's got a really good sort of underlying racing engine to it, so it's not all about that the fun doesn't completely come from twatting into other people. The fun comes that you can do that while having a really good race in the races that are races. But
so it's basically what some of us wanted with Drive Club.
It's really good fun. But also, one of my fondest ever multiplayer memories was back in the day when I used to be able to get friends to come round, and we had 3 of us brought our PCs. Oh, my mum and dad went away for the weekend, so I invited my mates over. So they all brought their PCs round. It was back in the days of big CRT monitors, so it was a big pain in the ass. And we had 3 monitors back to back on the living room table, big round table, and we just got shitloads of beer and pizza in, and we played like the first Unreal Tournament and Flat Out and Doom and all that, but Flat Out just like killing yourself laughing. It was so funny because you could just put it on like the figure of 8 courses, and like one of you would be a school bus and the other one would be like a little car, and you try and chase them down. It was so funny. But anyway, Wreckfest being by these people, why I've given it more of a chance than I probably would have done. But lo and behold, it came out on PlayStation Plus. I think it was this month. Yeah, this month's one. So I gave it an hour's play before I was nearly late for this because of it. So far, I mean, you're only in an amateur tier with a starting car, so it's nothing too great's happening. But you start off in a lawnmower destruction derby, just a big field, and you've just got to be last man standing and get a certain amount of. It's pretty funny, and then you progress to a track-based stock car race, and then I think one of the other next races when you do a lap-based lawnmower race, there's a combine harvester on the track with you that someone's racing. So there's about 15 other lawnmowers and the combine harvester, and this is on a figure of 8 track. So as you slowly spread out, this bloody combine harvester is bobbing round. So you shit yourself trying to sort of dart in front of it. But I mean, so far it seems like it's going to be really good fun. The crashing stuff's excellent, really like visceral. There's one track, it's like imagine a dog bone shape, so the middle part, the track is running next to itself with just bumps, so you can basically cross over onto the oncoming traffic if you want, but it also means you can push opponents into the oncoming traffic, and God, it really feels like they've been whacked. Really good. I can see it being also, it's going to be a bit frustrating because if you get tipped, it's not very forgiving. It's not very arcade-like. Like if you get spun, you're going round and you're going to struggle to recover from it. Whereas if it was a bit more arcadey, maybe you'd be able to catch it and sort of drift out of that.
Okay. Is it got VR then? On the a PC, I'd assume if it did have VR beyond that.
I don't think it has. No, I don't know if I actually looked at that, but I've not seen anyone ever mention it. Certainly not on the PlayStation, it hasn't.
Would you buy it on the PC then if it had VR?
I probably wouldn't bother with that. It's one of the few games I think where I would use an external view. I very rarely do it because I think you need, because it's all about whacking into people and avoiding being whacked into. And that's all. I was saying that, I suppose if you were sat in the car and you could look around, you could dodge it, but playing a VR racing game and anything but a cockpit cam is like a recipe for throwing up. It's such an odd thing. It's really bloody weird. Like if you're sat in the car, you're completely grounded and it feels so natural to be doing it, fine. You change the view to a chase cam where you've got a life-size car in front of you and you're basically hovering 6 foot up in the air behind it.
Well, you can just imagine you're in a helicopter following behind.
Oh, it's really strange.
You're a news reporter following along. And in the lead is Victor Mildew. That kind of thing.
It seems good so far. I mean, I don't know if it's going to get stupidly hard or something. You can toggle the... you've got quite a lot of options for toggling and assists and stuff if you want to, and I don't think it doesn't appear to punish you points-wise for it. You know, like Forza, the Forza series, I don't know if you played them, they offer you a bonus. Like if you say manual gears, no assist, and hard difficulty for a race, it gives you like a multiplier on your points you gain from it. Yeah. I don't know if Wreckfest does that. It doesn't appear to be penalising me at this stage for not using maximum difficulty on everything yet.
That's cool. But for me, I have played a few Forza games. I'm not a massive fan of them. I don't know, for some reason, like I like Forza Horizon games. They are more interesting to me, and I'm not a massive fan of open world racing games apart from Test Drive Unlimited. But for some reason, I really got into them. But the normal motorsport ones, I'm just like, I'm bored now.
Yeah, it's very much the sort of Gran Turismo-esque thing. Oh, speaking of Gran Turismo, I don't know if you saw, Gran Turismo Sport is an official Olympic sport now.
What?
So today the qualifying to basically, you could sit and play Gran Turismo and be an Olympic gold medalist.
Did you try out?
I haven't been on it yet. There's something only open today. I'm gonna have a stab at the qualifying though and see how.
Oh, you are, you? That's cool.
I mean, the problem is people who play Gran Turismo are the people that are good at it are exceptionally good, and they basically drive in a way that's cheating. But the game, they drive with like most of the car off on the grass to shorten the track and things, and also the people that are really good have all day, every day to sit and play it. Whereas I might have a couple of hours in the evening, but I'd still have a go. Back when he did like the GT Academy and stuff, I was all right at that for certain rounds and things. So I'll certainly be giving it a go. But yeah, it was doesn't seem to be much of a big thing made out of it. I mean, that's fucking massive for just gaming in general, isn't it? And
yeah.
You know, it's in the Olympics. It's not like a token sort of. Oh yeah, it's Olympic endorsed or something. It's part of the Olympics.
Is there any other games then, or is it just Gran Turismo?
Just Gran Turismo. I think it's the first.
I say just Gran Turismo. It's actually like a massive jump. Like you take something like some other sports like esports, then like Rocket League or Overwatch or something like that kind of thing would get in there as well, considering. Yeah. But no, surprising. I wonder what the reasoning behind Gran Turismo is.
Gran Turismo Sport, if you don't know about sport, is it's an online focus game. It's got a single player, but only because people like me who don't know any better bitched and moaned, oh, I don't want to play online. So they put like a pretty shitty single player mode in, which predictably is really boring because the AI is crap, as it always is. But the real meat of it is it's all online based, but they've got you'll go on there and there'll be 3 tracks in rotation, and it's really good as well. You just say if I put it on now, went to the sport mode, I'll be racing within, I don't know, 5 minutes maximum. There'll usually be a qualifying session running while you're waiting for the race to start. But they've also got FIA based races, and the FIA is I think it's Federation Internationally Automotive. It's basically the governing body, like FIFA. It's like the governing body of motorsports, and they've got official races that FIFA hold through Gran Turismo Sport. So I'd imagine that's given it a lot of stature. So something, you know, I mean, it's a huge thing to.
Yeah, it's a massive jump,
and I mean, it's not the most sort of hardcore of sims. It's certainly largely simulation based, but it's not that, you know, you can get away with stuff in Gran Turismo that if you put something like Assetto Corsa on will just kick your ass for doing it. But the fact it's even in there at all is just amazing, really. The fact that I could now come off this and sit in my bedroom and take part in qualifying for an Olympic event is.
It's mad to think that really. This time next year Victor Mildew could be an Olympic gold medalist from just sitting in his bedroom.
Imagine there'd be like on the podium, there'd be like two 20-year-olds, you know, sitting there with their sponsorship, and then this like overweight, bald, miserable guy on the top going.
No, I'm actually genuinely surprised that like I've not heard about it. There's no real like buzz about it, because like I can understand like, oh, it's just a racing game for a lot of people, but when you think about it, it's like, well, what else what other games can get in there for future ones? Will they stick around? Because obviously the Olympics are different now to what they were when they started. Like there used to be an art thing in there, like painting and stuff. So things change. Sometimes things get added, sometimes they get taken away, kind of like Nintendo. But it's just interesting and pretty unreal, actually, that a video game is now a part of the Olympics.
Yeah, it's called I'm just looking at the press release. It's called the Olympic Virtual Series. It says the Olympic Virtual Series is a cooperation between the IOC and 5 international sports federations and gaming publishers. The 5 official sports are baseball, cycling, rowing, sailing, and motorsport, the last of which will be held within Gran Turismo Sport. Players around the world will now be able to put their driving skills to the test through this new motorsport. Starts on the 13th of May until the 23rd of June. Global qualification will be held in the format of a time trial with the top 16 competitors qualifying for a place at the World Final. The World Final will be broadcast on the 23rd of June, Olympic Day, that commemorates the birth of the modern Olympic Games. The goal is to promote participation in sport across the globe, regardless of age, gender, or athletic ability. Be sure not to miss out on the action. It's pretty amazing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty shocking in a good way. Like I said, it'd be cool if it was just a game I liked. Rocket League. I've seen the esports of people in Rocket League, and I'm like, nope. How you do these things, I don't know.
Well, isn't it? When you actually watch someone who's like, you think you're really good doing a forward flip and knocking the ball in from a racy angle or something, you think, oh, that was really good. And then you watch proper really good people at it, and there's just like, it's like the Matrix, where they all just like jump up in the air, or like what the hell are you all doing up in the air, and all just flying around. And
what's the other 4 virtual things then? Is there like sitting on your bike in the house and racing against people in that sense, or is it actually like proper bike game?
I don't know. It doesn't matter because this is on the actual Gran Turismo website, so it doesn't call out the other ones. But baseball, cycling, rowing, sailing, and motorsport.
Well, baseball you would think would be something like MLB The Show if it's a game.
I wonder. I do wonder. I mean, cycling can be done, one of those like bike things plugged into something. Rowing could be done on a rowing machine. Sailing, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that means all of these are virtual ones, or whether it's the motorsport aspect has been deemed that it's going to be, because you could set up a boat race somewhere, you could set up this, but to set up motorsport is a hell of a logistical, you need a track and you need all the stuff that goes with it. So I wonder if they've chosen, because of what's going on this year, I wonder if that's been the push to say, well, for the motorsport part, why can't we hold it virtually?
Yeah, that is a big possibility, actually, with how the coronavirus has decimated shit. Well, some places are worse than others, though.
You
obviously.
may or may not have been aware, at this point last year, the Formula One series was basically cancelled. They all got to the first race in Australia, and on the day of the first practice session, it was like half the teams are getting coronavirus, so they cancelled it at the last minute. And it was like, is this ever going to happen? No one knew what the hell was going on back then, just in general, never mind in there. So what they ended up doing was, when it was clear, like, we're not going to be racing, possibly not at all this year, what the hell are we going to do? So there's a Max Verstappen, who's a racing driver, and a guy called Lando Norris. They're big on racing in like F1 games and sim games and stuff. They're big sim racers, and they started streaming on Twitch races, and then the idea came about to hold virtual Grand Prix. So what they ended up doing was having, in the Codemasters F1 2019 game, having virtual Grand Prix in place of what would have been the real one. And they managed to get, I think, for a lot of the races, they'd have half the grid would be actual current F1 drivers playing it, and then the other half would be sort of basically pro level sim racers. I mean, it was a shit show, as you can probably imagine, because people can't behave themselves, but it was pretty watchable. I watched a couple of them, and it was like, once people settled down and they didn't have the first lap carnage and stuff, it's like there's proper racing going on. I was like, and that was on the Sky Sports F1 channel, and I was saying to my wife at the time, I was like, look, taking this for granted, look, this is like prime time. A game is being streamed as if it's a real event. They had the proper commentary teams on and everything doing it.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
They treated it like
it was real game,
yeah.
like a real race. Yeah.
I mean, and there were times in it when, because that game looks pretty good. There were times in it where, if you squinted a bit, you could well believe you were watching a real one. It was when they had the proper ones, and they'd say, they'd say, we've got Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, this person, a couple of retired ones. It's like, name me one other thing where you'd have games being given actual serious treatment like this. And
Oh no,
think-
yeah, I wouldn't
yeah.
think. Like it's like as if like with the coronavirus has hit, with FIFA say, they all the teams were like, all right, we'll all play online and we all play as the character we play, as in the game. You know what I mean? 11 versus 11,
Yeah.
and they all just use the like play their character. But obviously that would be a lot more awkward. But it's mad to think that instead of just going, oh well, we fucked, they're like, oh well, actually no, we could still race. It's just we're gonna have to do it on a game. I wonder how they would say it compares to the real thing though, driving in a game. Obviously it's not gonna be the same. You're obviously not gonna feel the G-force or any of the motion stuff. But I wonder if it's like if it's easier or harder to like follow a line and stuff in comparison to a car.
They were saying that like the Codemasters game is far from a sim, but still the principles apply and all this. And those people, they rise to the top as well. They all had full blown Fanatec, like 15 grand's worth of equipment given to them because of all the exposure they were getting. But they were saying like one of the retired, you might have heard of Johnny Herbert. He's like a long retired. He's probably in his like mid-50s now. But he had to go and he was shocking. But he was saying, he said it's not as far off as you'd think. He said you don't get any sensations, and of course there's no sense of danger, so you approach things differently, and you have to, because it is it still has those gamey elements. You can still game things a bit. But he said you'd be surprised how when you get into a rhythm how close it is. But also another racing thing today. There's a game called iRacing. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
No.
that is a solely online based. It's like I don't know what you call it, but it's like real racing but done virtually. So it exists solely to be as serious as possible racing thing. So instead of being a millionaire that can afford to go and take part in gentlemen's races all year, you basically race this, and it's subscription based, and it's £200 a year to be in it. And I've only just downloaded it because it was on offer today for new people. It's £20 for a year, which is just amazing. So I was downloading. There's a code of conduct. It's really serious. A code of conduct manual, which is 75 pages long.
Oh my god.
Which it sounds like your kind of game, Pedz. But this game is apparently it's the most. I've never played it because of the cost barrier, but it's the most realistic sim you can possibly get.
Did they actually do competitions and that there where you can get prizes, or is it just?
It's all ranked, and it's run like the NASCAR series officially runs a NASCAR virtual series through it. It's quite Americanized, but that Max Verstappen guy and Lando Norris I was talking about, they use it in between races for practice.
All right.
As in, not to piss about and play games, they use it to hone their racing skills. And it's funny enough, you watch them racing, and they pull, racing in real life that is, they actually pull moves. It's like, and I'd say like that move, only someone who plays games would pull a move like that and know they could get away with it. But there's so when like Max Verstappen's on a server, you'll have people queuing when they find out, the word gets out on the forums, Max Verstappen's racing. You'll have people queuing for like the afternoon trying to get on the server he's on and be in a race with him. Because
I gotta be honest, I'm interested to download and try this myself, but I'd probably get banned in the first race because I'm fucking awful at racing games. The first corner, I'll probably crash into about 8 cars.
Going by the thing you're going to, go looking at it.
It wouldn't be intentional. It'd be, it happened before. I remember on like Drive Club we were playing, and it's like a first corner I crashed, and it's like people are like, stop fucking ramming us. I'm like, we're not doing it on purpose. I'm just really fucking bad.
This thing is, it's as serious as you could take it. It's basically like real racing, but it just happens to be in a game rather than it's a game that you can go on and do rank races in, if that makes sense. So it's very clear. It's like the installer has a 15-step thing. It's like read this, you'll have this license, you'll be judged on your conduct. If you don't adhere to your conduct, basically you won't be allowed to join any races and stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to get going. I'm going to get it installed. I'm going to have a go on it this weekend. I can't wait to just sit and get all my stuff out and have a proper go on it, because if it's as sort of hardcore, because I love a good hardcore sim, if it's as good as it appears it's going to be, could be in for some really good races. Because when you start out, if you're in an amateur league, but with people, you're all going to be amateur, but have a certain level of skill to be taking part of this game anyway, and you'll soon get weeded out if you're not. So to be racing in amateur leagues, but with people that are the same sort of skill level, it should be so good.
Awkward silence.
You're all
I just
aren't
went.
you?
No, yeah, like I said, I'd be tempted to try it, but I would instantly get fucking banned from the game because I'm a bad racing driver in racing game. Like whenever I play, say I'm playing games like Matt and Grum, like I have done. If there's a game involving a car, everyone's like rip F in chat instantly, because it's like, yeah, I just fucking zoom around and just ram shit. Just,
You like that best then?
just don't care. Also, I'm bad. I'm not good at working out when you're meant to slow down and when you're meant to speed up. And as I don't drive either, I've got no experience, apart from a couple of lessons. I've got no experience in a car. So,
Well, it's funny, when I always, if I've got like people around, say, do you want to go on my racing stuff, if I've got it set up, you'd be surprised. It's like people that drive and say, okay, before you start, imagine you're driving a car, so drive how you would in your car, and some people get it, and they're not going to be on the pace straight away, but they're kind of having a bit of fun and going off quite a lot, but doing it. And other people, they'll just foot to the floor, and then they'll get to a corner, and then they'll be in the corner, and then they'll just wind full steering lock on, and then just smash into a wall. It's like that disconnect. It's like, you wouldn't do that in your real car. So imagine you're in your car, right? Okay, so you'd slow down, wouldn't you, if you're in a real car? Yep. The next one. So some people just can't. Some people just can't make that sort of connection almost, and other people just like jump in and go, "Yep, off we go." It just comes naturally.
that's crazy to think, actually. Speaking of Wreckfest, though, because that's what we were talking about originally. Both of you have played it. You've played it for an hour. What about you, Rula? How long have you played it for?
Hours. I think I checked on True Achievements, and it was about 40, 50 hours.
Wow.
So I have spent quite a bit of time with it.
Did you buy the game or did you get it part of Game Pass? Ultimate Game Pass?
Well, funny thing, I bought it because it was on a sale.
And then it went on Game Pass. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was funny, actually. I remember The Tourist. It's on Game Pass. I bought it on the Switch because it was on offer, and the next day it went on Game Pass, and I didn't know about it. And I was saying to Matt about it, and he's like, "Oh, cheers for buying it." I was like, "Bastard."
Yeah.
But I played a little bit of... No, I don't even know if I did actually put it on. I think I was in the middle of downloading it. I can't be arsed, and just cancelled it because I was just being like, I can't be asked to wait for something to download. I think, though, while I do have it on the... I think I've got it on the PC as well as on Game Pass, though. I was going to play it on there simply because it was just something I fancied, playing. I thought it'd be easier to do on there than on here because I'm regularly running out of space on my PC. I've got like something like 8 terabytes of space, and I'm always at like a couple of 100 gigabytes at most. I think right now I've got about 90 gigabytes of space.
How much you've got, you fill it up, don't you?
I fill it up with like loads of games, really. I could delete them, but I like them being there. So,
Yeah.
My missus have just come down the stairs with even more photos of the dog. There's one with him sitting with the hat on, and you can see the glasses better and stuff. It's fucking awesome. The dog groomer just sent it to my other half. That's brilliant. And there's also my mother-in-law's dog was taken at the same time, and it looks like he's got a big fucking cheesy grin on his face. It's really cool. Sorry, I know it's a bit of a derailment, but I'll have to
Post them.
I'll have to post them in the Discord and on the forum. Just have to upload them for me by clicking on the thing. I'll sort it out in a bit. I don't know. So yes, don't worry about it. We'll sort that out after. Just send them to me and I'll do it. Yeah. There you go. No. There you go. See? Yeah.
You're
See
listening to chat.
Yo, yeah, exactly. I don't know whether to cut this or leave it. Don't fucking finger me. She poked me in the arm. She did not stick a finger up my butt. Yeah, so what were we saying? If I was so rudely interrupted.
So really, you played that for say about 40 hours. I mean, are you any good at it, or do you just? Is it just because of the crashes and stuff? Do you like to just play it just because it's fun to just smack into stuff, or have you got really good and you win a lot?
Well, I mostly try to play it proper, proper race rules, no crashing into anything. But you can't help but sometimes, especially on the crazy stuff like Deathloop and that, just go, I don't care about anything, let's just whack into everyone I meet.
Give them a little tap, like I did one earlier. Then there was a one-on-one race, and the other car was way quicker than me. Like, just I couldn't catch it. So what I did when it was slowing down for something, I just thought, well, I'm just going to T-bone you then, because that's what you're supposed to. Just whack and just smacked it off, and I managed to pull 9 seconds out on it, and then it managed to catch me again. But little thing like when you're going over a jump, just to give it a little tap on the back and send them flying off the thing.
Yeah. That's just cruel.
I think I managed to take him out at the first corner.
That was it.
And then he manages to catch back up. And then one tiny mistake from me, and he's won.
Yeah, there's no stopping him. It's the sort of thing that it'd be great if, it's a shame we're all split across different platforms, because I think it'd be hilarious to have like a full multiplayer thing with us lot on there.
Yeah,
it'd be really funny, I think.
Well, we should see who has got what. You've got a PC though. I don't know if it's cross-play on PC, because is it on Game Pass for PC? I don't know. Because if it was cross-play on the PC and the Xbox, then a load of people could play on the Xbox and you could play on the PC with the Game Pass thing of it, but I don't think it is. But I know Dark Rula does a fair bit of racing stuff, because Dark Rula plays and streams on this channel and his own. Like the GTA 5 racing stuff, as well as Forza Horizon 4 and things like that. So I guess realistically, you two have a lot more you'd be able to talk about when it comes to racing, whereas I'm just going to ask random shit. Like, can you shag the exhaust of a car? I know you can't. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, obviously, if there's things that you're going to want to talk about when it comes to racing, if you've got someone who's actually knows what the fuck they're talking about, they're going to ask better questions and also give better answers. Let me just go, yeah, it's quite fun going around the track. I did hit a car for once.
At Wreckfest, I'd if you could get a chance to have a go on it. It's I've not tried any of the multiplayer or anything like that, but they just do have flat out destruction derbies where you've got a massive bowl, like dirt bowl, and then there's like 30 other cars in it, and you just got to smash into each other. So it's not all racing, or there'll be a mode where the idea is to wreck cars while you're driving around a racetrack rather than just finishing. Or sometimes there'll be like you have to finish first, but a bonus.
So are there actually different modes and other than just racing? Is it actually a destruction derby ring?
Yes.
And that's it?
Yep, so you can do it with lawnmowers.
So
there's
the game is kind of like, sorry, I was going to say the game is, in the normal races, you can like take out a car and then it's wrecked and then you just carry on racing while they are dead on the floor.
Yep.
It doesn't penalise you for, even if no matter what type of thing you're doing, it doesn't sort of tell you off for hitting another car. The purpose is that if you want to smash into and take out somebody else, you can do it. But there'll be certain races that'll be like this one, it will say come first. But the bonus objective will be to spin someone in the process of doing it. So you don't really want to get tangled up with people because you're not going to be able to win that way. But likewise, if someone's trying an overtake on you into a tight corner, you might be tempted to then just sort of give them a little tap and spin them around or something. But then there's other modes where, there's like a destruction derby with lawnmower races, and you can smack people out of them and run them over, or there's like that figure 8 one where the objective was to come first, but there was a combine harvester driving around as well, so it's not all.
With the figure 8 one, is it literally the tracks are crossing in the centre?
Yep. So
So you've got to avoid every car that's going past one way as well.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to download this. Give it a proper try.
Yeah, so give the I don't know what the multiplayer's like. It might be full of twats or something, but then who knows? But it's quite the racing. I put the difficulty quite high, so I don't know what it's like on easy. So it might actually be, the easy might be really easy. So if you're not that into racing games, you could still probably do the races if you wanted to. But yeah, the figure 8 thing, I could see that being proper funny in multiplayer, because once that field's spread out a bit, because it's quite a tight little figure 8, when you're crossing over and you can see the cars come around the corner, it's like in Mario Kart 64 where you're trying to beat the train, the gap. It's like that feeling of like shit.
In the desert level, yeah.
And you just get past it.
That's really cool. I would like to try it. I'm gonna have to have a look. What do you call it? With the Rula, you've put in a lot of time. Is that mainly offline, or have you been playing online? So obviously it's on the Xbox community, but do you know the Xbox community's like?
No, it's all been offline for me. I don't really do online for anything.
All right, so okay, if you have mainly not played the game offline, how big is the game and how long is the game for you to have put in so much time? Or do you just keep replaying the same stuff because it's good,
It's kind of, I've only made progress in the career halfway, so there's 4, I think it is, championships for the career. And obviously I've only done 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But half the time, I'm just choosing a track, joining in with it. Well, choosing a track, and then choosing another one, sometimes doing destruction derbies, and just having fun, just messing around at times.
From what I can tell, there's, I think, a 6 leagues, like a proper amateur one, and then it goes right up to pro.
It's probably 3 I've completed then, because I know I'm halfway.
If you imagine, Pedz, the structure of Drive Club where you've got a championship, and then within that you've got different themed events, like you'll have a drift event, a time trial, a point. It's just like that. So within that one you'll have a destruction derby event, a stock car race, a proper race, an elimination one, a big bowl, a figure 8 one. So it seems to be pretty varied within each thing.
So I don't know. The game sounds really interesting. It sounds more interesting in this game than the last one you were talking about. Even though that sounded interesting in a different kind of way, this sounds more my cup of tea of a racing game. Just balls to the wall fun instead of, oh my god, this guy touched the back of my car, I'm gonna get him shot.
You would absolutely hate it. I tell you, I don't know if you've ever played a proper sim game, but it's weird. It's like, because I've played so many of them, I don't really sort of give much consideration to how tough they are anymore, because I'm so used to that type of game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not amazing or anything, but I'm pretty good at them. But you watch someone then go and sit on the same thing and go, right, go forward, and they'll put their foot down and they'll just spin out of control on a straight and smash the car up. You think, oh shit, yeah, it's actually quite difficult, this, isn't it? So you'd absolutely hate it, because the level of not skill, but the level of patience you need to rein yourself in and learn the way it works, and then slowly build your speed up, and then get in that mindset, take you a lot. Yeah, if it's there are assists and things you can help yourself with, but you wouldn't enjoy it. It wouldn't be like, oh, that was good fun being shit and last.
It's just like playing Drive Club again. To be fair, I did get better at Drive Club, and I actually won a fair few races in the end.
Yeah.
But I was extremely inconsistent.
But that had the benefit of being accessible enough that you could do that.
Exactly.
Whereas, it lent itself to, you could learn enough to sit and then start doing well and still enjoy what you're doing. Whereas something like a full-blown sim, you could play it for a year and never make a lap without fucking up. And it's just like whether you find that learning process fun or not. I find conquering the track really challenging, though. Getting proper quick. That's the part I really enjoy, which is why I really enjoy time trials. Not the purity of it, but if you don't enjoy learning every little nuance to get around as quick as possible, you're going to hate it, because you need to be really quick. And to be really quick, you've got to be right on the edge of crashing all the time.
That to me sounds like a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely enjoy it.
I don't like I said, I don't like Forza Motorsport. So and that's too it's boring to me. I don't know why. Like
they're pretty simple. Yeah, they're very, very forgiving. Like in Forza Motorsport, say you're driving around a corner, like a tight full pelt, like you would have done in Drive Club, and you're not going to make the corner because you're going too quick. So you just sort of lift off the accelerator, and then the car comes in a bit, and then you sort of push it back on again. If you do that in a proper sim, if you lift off the accelerator, the car spins. It just swaps ends straight away. Whereas like things like Forza and Gran Turismo, they let you get away with that. Whereas something like Assetto Corsa or this, if you just lift off, just completely lift off in the middle of a corner, the car just swaps ends and goes straight off the track.
Do you know what? Nah, not for me. Not for me at all. What else would you like to say about Wreckfest? Because obviously, I don't know, like I can't really say anything. I've not played it. Like I said, I got it on the PC. I got it when it was on offer, and it was quite cheap actually. The reason why I got it is because I was watching someone stream, and they were doing something stupid, like I can't remember what exactly, racing on a toilet or something absolutely mental. That sofa it might have been actually. Yeah, so I was like, I need this. But then after I was just like, I just don't care enough. And for me, with racing games in general, as I said, like I'm not a massive fan of them, but some of them really click. Like Drive Club did, Test Drive Unlimited did. When I was younger, there was this rally game on PC. I don't think many people was playing, but I really enjoyed it. I can't remember what it's fucking called, but I liked it. Like I didn't get into things like a lot of my friends when I was younger. They'd be like, "Yeah, Colin McRae Rally's amazing." I'm like, I don't like it, shit. And like I don't know. It's got a click. Like kind of like you with certain games like Pokemon. You don't give a shit about it. Racing games. It's not that I don't give a shit. It's just like, I just don't get into them. Also, it doesn't help by with the fact of how bad I am at them as well.
Yeah, and it's having that desire to spend the amount of time it takes to get to get more skilled to even make it round without crashing, let alone be quick. So you've really got to enjoy that process. Otherwise, I can completely see why people hate them. I mean, it'd be like putting a fighting game on, and then you're just getting absolutely pummeled immediately with no chance of ever getting a hit in. It's like, well, how long do I need to spend to even get good at this? Like, oh, you need to play this with a special stick you need to buy to even stand a chance, and you're probably going to have to spend maybe 50 hours just learning the way this works. you might get it's like that kind of thing. You just be like, oh fuck that, I'm not doing that. It's the same kind of thing, really.
Yeah, for me, nah. The thing is, as well, is like I've watched. I can't remember what it was on. It was on something, and there was people racing on games, and like everyone was using the wheel, and I'm like a proper wheel and the pedals and all that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll just play with my pad. I remember watching it, and like one guy was using the pad, and he was actually just as good as
Yeah.
the majority of them, but the better ones were all using a steering wheel, and that's just extra money. Like, I've got a steering wheel for the Dreamcast. That's it.
Yeah.
But there's a level of learning to use the bloody wheel. As stupid as it sounds, is that when you first get a wheel, you think, "Oh, here we go then." Because I bought a Logitech G27 back yonks ago for Gran Turismo 5. I was like, right, I'm gonna, I like these enough that I'm gonna buy a wheel now. So I used to have a little Sidewinder one that I used to play on my PC with, but I never had a PlayStation compatible one. I'm gonna get one. And the logic is, you think, well, I'm gonna get this and be so much better at this game. Whereas I put it on there and say I did a minute dead lap with my pad, and I would do that all day long. I'd put the wheel on, and I was doing like 1:05. It's like, and I was just really struggling, and even learning to play with the wheel and the way you've got to sort of adjust, think differently was just different. Even that in itself is a learning process.
Yeah, it sounds like a. How long did it take you then to get used to the wheel?
It's a surprising amount of time, because I used to play a lot on the PC with one, but I think it's more playing that game with it, because I'd never played Gran Turismo with a wheel. I'd only played it with a pad, and I think there's sort of almost hidden assists, like Drive Club. You can play with a pad on that and be just as quick as someone with the wheel. In fact, I streamed with remote play. I streamed to my Vita in bed and set a time on streaming on my Vita, which basically has lag built in, that I couldn't then beat with my wheel when I played it downstairs. So I think some games give you like almost hidden help when you're using certain types of devices. So I think Gran Turismo, you could play with the pad, and then you'd switch to a wheel, and then it'd be pretty hard to then adjust. But then once you've adjusted, there's no going back.
No.
It's just such a different experience.
Is there anything else you want to say about Wreckfest and stuff now? Out of curiosity, because then we can move on to the next thing, because it's already 9:25, surprisingly.
Only that I hope the multiplayer is good, and if it is good, it'd be nice to try and get some races together.
Yeah.
It's about races like we used to do with Drive Club, just a bit of good fun. I hope it's a laugh. I'll soon find out.
I mean, even on the tracks that you think are normal, proper tracks, there's at least one crossover point in them. Like that one that's through a forest, I think.
Yeah.
You've got
That sounds cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay then. Let's move on to the next topic of conversation, which is it was going to be the Mass Effect Remaster, which is coming out tomorrow. Which by the time this is up on the podcast, I feel it'll have already been out. I'm just wondering, like, are any of you interested in the Mass Effect Remaster at all?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I mean,
I never played them, but sorry, Rilla.
I might consider trying it, but that's obviously maybe not through the remaster, because obviously that'll be more expensive than just buying one of the originals.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure at all about the price of the original 3 games. I think this is around £50. Which obviously is probably going to be more than the original releases if you were to buy them now. So I can understand why you would rather kind of get the originals.
Yeah, it's something I think I out. A mate of mine said I'd love them because I played Knights of the Old Republic, and it's by BioWare, isn't it? He said
Yeah.
absolutely love them, but I just that was it. I think they were on the Xbox at the time. I didn't have one, which is why I never got into them. And then once there's 3 games, I know I've got to start at the start, and it becomes like, oh god, that's a commitment.
Well, the first game was only on the Xbox. I'm not sure if they were released as a what was it? I think they were released on the PS4, maybe as a compilation.
I don't know if they were.
No.
I bought it if they had.
See, I thought they were, but obviously now they are being remastered. Originally, when the first Mass Effect came out on the Xbox, when the second was released, there was like a comic for the first game on the PlayStation 3 version of Mass Effect 2, so you could make all the choices of the first game, just not playing the first game, which is interesting take, really, because obviously they couldn't put the game on there. Obviously, things have changed now, I guess. I'm trying to think. Mass Effect is obviously like for me, I think they're really good games. How come you've not played them then? Apart from both of you, then have not played them. You said because of the Xbox. This is fair enough. What about Dark Rula then? How come you've not played the game?
It's just never been something I've had my eye on, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. You can't really argue with that one, you know. I thought, like, I don't know, when you like, most people who like games that I know like kind of like sci-fi and stuff, so I'm surprised neither of you have played the games or not getting the remaster simply because of that.
Well, I think it's almost like they've always been there, and I just think, oh yeah, I'll play those at some point, and then it's got to the point where it's been so long and there's enough ones out that it just almost seems impenetrable, because I know how much my mate raved about the first one. I know I'll love it. I know I think it was great. It's just I've got to start somewhere, and it's when do I do it? And I think if a collection had come out for the PlayStation 4, I would have done it, but it never happened.
Well, the thing is the first one is really good. For me personally, I think the first one is really good. The second one is better. That like the gameplay is refined more. There are some issues with the one second, Cora, if you want to jump in, be my guest, man. Especially if you've played Mass Effect, it means I got someone else who can talk about her. Yeah, so basically Mass Effect 2, like one of the aspects I disliked about it, there's two actually, but one of them is the simple fact that they, for some reason, decided to make it so that guns have ammo, which they did not do in the first game. There wasn't ammo for your guns, at least not that I can bloody remember anyway.
Do you think that was to almost give you something more to do, rather than it being something which would be more fun to play?
Yeah, well, it just seems odd, because at the end of the day, yeah, you can say like you did, it adds something to do, but all it, like, you don't find ammo around the place. It's just enemies drop ammo, so it's not changing anything other than making it a little bit more difficult when you do run out. I guess that means you have to change up your weapons a little bit more, but at the same time, it just seems a bit daft. The other aspect of the second game, which is a little, it obviously will depend on the person. And I haven't played Mass Effect since they originally came out, but they kind of stripped back some of the RPG elements from the first game. Like, you've still got obviously the choices and stuff, but the like RPG menu systems and stuff are not there. The third game is actually, like, most people will tell you Mass Effect 3 is shit. It's not shit. It's a good game. It's just the last hour or so is shit. And the original ending that they first put out was a fucking travesty. But they did fix things in updates and stuff because fans were so fucking pissed off. I don't, honestly, personally, while I didn't like the ending, like some people said they didn't mind the ending, but while I didn't like the ending, I don't think a company should go, well, okay, we need to change the ending. I think they should just stick with it. Mass Effect Andromeda, but by the way, you can play that separately to the first three because it's set at the same time as the first three games. But obviously, it's set before initially, I think. And then you travel to Andromeda, so then it's set way later, and you're in a completely different galaxy. So there may be some references to the Milky Way, but there's no connection at all other than that. From what I played of it,
I've actually got that one.
Honestly, you should give the first one a try, and then the second, then the third. Then maybe Andromeda if you want to play another one.
I got given it when it came out. My mate, he got one, like a load of promo ones. It was a sealed one. It's like, he's like, oh, here you go. Oh, thanks very much. Like, brand new out. But then people were piling on it so much. I thought, well, maybe I won't try it then. And then I've just never opened it.
The thing is with Andromeda is like the game isn't awful. For example, like a lot of people were, the gameplay is fine. It doesn't really do anything really new. Like the story stuff is from what I played was okay, but from what I've heard, it kind of is a bit after the last one, because obviously with the other one, it's a big massive deal, and in this it doesn't seem as big, so maybe that's why people didn't enjoy it as much. But I think for me, my opinion on why people disliked it so much, because when it came out, it was so fucking janky. Like, you saw things where, like, some of the graphics and shit was happening was just ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, the other Mass Effect games weren't perfect. I saw a clip of like a Commander Shepard walking and his head spinning in 360 degrees. So it's not like it doesn't happen, but Andromeda seemed to be more buggy, and I think a lot of people were disappointed with it because it just didn't live up to the expectations of the first three. And I think people are still pissed off about Mass Effect 3 as well. And also people were disappointed with Dragon Age 3. I can't remember what it's called. Something. Insurrection? Erection? Something like that. But I think people have been not really enjoying the games by BioWare since the third Dragon Age game. Because Dragon Age came out, people weren't that fussed. There's some people who love it, but generally speaking, it weren't as loved as the first one, or the first three Mass Effect games. Well, two. Then you had issues with Mass Effect. Then you had Anthem, and do you know that image you see of a guy with a gun, and it says EA, and then there's all the bodies with the developers on it. If BioWare don't have a hit soon, I think that's going to need another body added with BioWare added to it. Personally,
here's a question then, because I've been keeping one eye on the remaster thread, and I've seen that there's sort of some unfavourable comparisons. You know, where people saying what they've done, what they've changed, isn't sort of in keeping with the feeling of it. I mean, what do you feel? Do you think it looks like fresh enough to be really called a remaster or Ultimate Edition or whatever they're calling it, or is it just tampering for tampering's sake?
I to be honest, I've not even looked at it because I don't plan on buying it myself. Because I have the games on PC and Xbox, I don't really see the point because I still got easy access to them. If there was something older that was more difficult to get your hands on, then I'd consider it. But it's backwards compatible on my Xbox Series X, and it's on my PC through Game Pass. It's just like, I don't need to.
Yeah,
I don't need to.
Why bother? If it had been some spectacularly overhauled thing, then maybe
Exactly.
The
thing is, sorry, I was just going to quickly say the thing is it's only 2 generations ago, and it didn't look fucking ugly or anything. But when you have those 3 games and they put on obviously in one collection on a PlayStation 5 and Series X, I think they're actually PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, aren't they? So they're only a generation ahead in terms of development and stuff. It just seems like for me, a remaster of a game I tend to buy, it's going to have to be a couple of generations to feel like it's worth it. Like, I bought the Crash Bandicoot remaster because to me that seemed worth it. It was £30. There was 3 games, and they were all out on the PlayStation 1, I think. So it's like, that is a big leap. Like, that is a big gap. The stuff they've done with it visually compared to what it was originally like is fucking massive. But most remasters nowadays are barely remasters. They just like increase some stuff. I'm not saying it's simple and easy to do. I'm just saying it's not a lot of. It doesn't seem to go above and beyond like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and CTR did. They just seem a lot more. Like the developers actually put some heart and soul into it, you know?
Yeah, like someone being given, it's like somebody being given the opportunity to take the IP and do something with it, and like really embracing that, like, oh hey guys, look what we've got, let's really give this our all. Whereas some of the other ones are basically the same game, and hey look, we've put a different shader on this character. Oh, great. Yeah,
it just doesn't seem like they. Like I said, it doesn't seem like they've put their heart and soul into it, whereas the Crash game and stuff did. Speaking of Crash and that, actually, changing subject from Mass Effect, because I am. I read recently that most of the teams, including the team that did Crash Bandicoot and stuff, are just being put on working on COD.
Yeah, what the hell is that about?
So, I have no words, man. Why? They could have, like, they brought out Crash 4. I guess they didn't make £50 billion or something, because why the fuck would they just go, nah, COD. Everything's COD.
Activism being activism.
Yeah, that's Activision all over.
Exactly. But it just, I know, but it just seems like, they're doing well with the Crash stuff and what have you. Like, right now, but it literally seems to me Activision Blizzard are just, I want my money. It's not about having. It's not about it's the most money. It's about having all the money, as they say. It just seems like it's such a waste. It'd be like Blue Point. Is it Blue Point who've been doing loads of really good remasters?
Yeah.
It'd be like them being bought out by someone and just going, right, we're going to put you on this other game and fuck the remasters. Fuck any new IP. Fuck any new games. Just help with this shit. Even though we've got enough people working on it, when we're not sacking them for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can almost at the point and like, it not even being newsworthy when Activision do something stupid and dicky now. Like, it's been so constant for so long. It's like, why do we even still act as if we're surprised by it?
Exactly. No, I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I'm just
Annoyed.
and yeah, annoyed. It's annoying because again, we as a community of gamers, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like fucking some weird gamer like some people are out there, but it's like we all want, like, not to sound entitled, but we all want different games, not just one game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was what always used to infuriate me, and one of my first design job, where most people had a PlayStation or Xbox. All they played was Call of Duty or FIFA, and they'd almost scoff at the thought of playing anything else. Like, why would I play anything else? It's just, and to sort of the people who own these studios to be seemingly taking that a thing of like, well, yeah, we can make these great things, but this thing makes an absolute fucking bucket of money, so I don't particularly care what we do or what people think. Make that.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it seems like if they are making money, then why bother? Like, there's no need then, to stop it. Like, I get they want to make as much money as possible, but you would think that if they're still making a profit, isn't that good enough?
Yeah, it should be.
I don't get it.
Yeah, you're right. It should be, but isn't. If it's not making like mega profit, what's the point? Seems to be the kind of corporate mentality.
Yeah.
Especially in the States, you see it kind of you're seeing it now roll into just about everything that American CEOs are part of. That's where all that European Super League stuff came from as well. If it's not super profitable, then why are we doing it?
Obviously, I'm not into football, and I didn't know anything about the Super League other than, they tried to make a new Europe. Like my son said to me, they tried to do a new European league. No one wants it. I said, why? Because like I didn't know anything about it. And he's like, didn't say much, and because he doesn't. And I was like, think to myself, I wonder if it's just because there was a lot of I just assumed it was the British. I was like, I wonder if it's as simple as they don't want to be a part of Europe in any way, shape, or form after Brexit. but it actually seems like, from everything I've actually heard, that it was just a fucking thing to get as much money as possible, and it was it would have ruined stuff. Like
the basic concept of it was like we'll start this new 15-team league and close the door so that we will always play in it and we can't not qualify for it. And it's that like American thing of, what is best for us rather than what is best for the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And that is what Activision exemplify. That's what Bobby Kotick exemplified. What's best for me, what's best for business. And I loved Crash. I've not played it myself, but I've watched a few people like Jeff Yard and other people stream through Crash 4, and it looks amazing. It looks like a really, really faithful, really good remaster of a game, redesign of a game, and it's a terrible thing if they're not going to be given the opportunity to follow that up with a brand new game, and just work on COD forevermore. It's really poor.
It's like
can't disagree.
It's like people that they're expecting. Okay, people on the internet have been asking for a Crash Bandicoot game for a long time. Let's give them a brand new one, and they're almost like expecting it to become the new Mario. People to be going ape shit over it, and because they haven't, they just said, "Oh, this is a really good game," and it's sold in a modest amount. Like, that didn't do what we were thinking. Sod it.
I think that's the issue a lot of the time, though, isn't it? There's projected sales, and they are really met, I believe, or they're not met as often as the publishers would like, at least. And I think quite a few games have ended up getting fucking chucked in the bin because it didn't make Like I remember hearing about one game. I think it like might have been Hitman. Like it just wasn't making much, so as much as they wanted, so they got rid of the company or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, unfortunately, because it was a while ago, and I'm old now. I'm like in my 30s.
That IO, like IO I don't remember the story exactly because, as you say, it was donkeys years ago. But like IO Interactive basically got turfed out of wherever it was because Hitman didn't make any money for them or something like that.
Wasn't they owned by
Eidos?
Square? Eidos? I thought it was Square.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the old games were Square, and then they just let
Then-
IO go.
Yeah, and now they're making Hitman, and people seem to fucking love it. I remember though, on a tangent a bit, when Hitman first was announced as a episodic thing, people were like, nah, this is gonna be fucking awful. And then all of a sudden people played it and fucking adored it and were like, oh my god, this is so good because you spend so much time in one level, you get to do this, you get to do that, you get to explore certain things, the way you play the game is just different to how you've played it before with the replayability. Like me personally, I don't play Hitman because stealth games are not my thing. Like racing games, I'm fucking awful for a start, and I just don't enjoy them as much as other games. So there you go.
I'm kind of the same. I liked Blood Money, and that's the last Hitman game I really genuinely enjoyed. I'm crap at stealth games, but that's just because I'm crap at games in general. People seem to like it. I am not a massive fan of episodic content as a concept, but it's not going anywhere, and it really seems to have worked for the Hitman kind of model, so fair play to them.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't got an issue with episodic games. My issue with it, I do have some issues with it. But generally speaking, I don't mind. Like Life is Strange, I loved playing that, and it was like it's kind of like a TV show in a sense. Like
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Victor about TV shows last time you were on, or another time, and he was saying like he watched Breaking Bad live for the most part, and I know you don't like it before you say anything, Cora. Every week when there was like a cliffhanger or at the end of a season, it's like, oh my god, what's going to happen next, kind of thing. Well, you kind of get that with these kind of games. Then you've got this anticipation of, oh my god, what is going to happen, you know? And while I like to binge TV and with games, if there's DLC, I tend to play it after the DLC has come out a lot of the time because it means I'll play all the game. I sometimes it just fits, you know, to me anyway.
I think there's a place for episodic content, like Life is Strange, stuff like that, where it's telling a story in the style of a TV show. Brilliant. If they decided to do it with something like Doom, I would probably agree with it. But that's where I have a problem because I can see it kind of creeping in more, and I don't want that to be the norm. I would rather it be used in places where it can benefit the game more, like in the I can't remember the name of the company, the one that died.
Telltale.
Say again.
Telltale,
that's the one. Like the Telltale games work episodically, and that's great. But AAA titles, you know, stuff like that.
the thing is they made decent games, but from the sound of it, the only reason why they went to shit is because management was so fucking bad.
They took on so many licenses, and they didn't have the staff to deal with them all. So like they had like all of the games that they were doing. So they had like The Walking Dead, Batman. They did a load of lesser stuff like Borderlands.
They had Borderlands, The Wolf Among Us, which is
Wolf Among Us. But then they took on licenses for stuff like Stranger Things, and like big money, like potentially big money licenses, and then they just didn't have the capacity to back that up, and it seemed to come completely out of nowhere. They had like 10 games in the pipeline, and like obviously somebody called in their marker, and they just collapsed overnight. It was insane. It's a shame because like a lot of people kind of moan about them being all very samey and stuff like that, but they're not like they're very fun and like diversionary games, if you like. And I'd quite enjoy it if I had a free day. I would quite enjoy just going through one of them. The Guardians of the Galaxy one was actually really good.
Yeah, I haven't played that one. And one thing I will say that I don't like about episodic games is if an episodic game comes out and it's really good and you enjoy it, sometimes like they don't continue to make them. I believe it was my brother-in-law, he bought Blues and Bullets, and I think episode 1 came out, and episode 2 didn't come out for a long time, and then I don't think any more episodes came out or haven't come out. Maybe it'll be like next year or something, and this was 360.
Yeah, well, that's the other problem you've got is that like, and again, like this actually happened, I think, with a couple of the Telltale ones where they were like halfway through a series and then they folded, and I think they ended up having to keep like it was the last Walking Dead season or something like that.
Season 4.
And they had to keep like a skeleton crew on working basically voluntarily to finish it, and it's just like that doesn't work, and that is a fundamental flaw with the model for me. But
yeah,
again, I can see what it has. Its advantages. There's something about it that makes me very uneasy if it becomes more of the norm.
What's your favourite Telltale game, guys?
Tales from the Borderlands for me.
I've never played any Telltale games.
Disgusting, Rula. How about you, Victor? Hello?
He's gone.
He's gone. He didn't even say goodbye.
He's still in the chat.
I'm here. I'm chatting.
I couldn't hear you. What about you?
Didn't even know I was gone. So I've played the first season of The Walking Dead. I've got the second one, but I've not done it. But yeah, the Tales from the Borderlands was unexpectedly good.
Yeah.
Like it was and it had more interaction to it than the Batman one, which basically had sod all really. Batman one was quite phoned in, I thought.
Did you play both seasons of the Batman one or just the first?
Just the first one. It wasn't impressive enough to go in for the second one. But Tales of the Borderlands had some really good little gameplay moments. It was genuinely funny. The story, it was actually, it was like a Borderlands game. It was very well done.
It's a shame it sold 0 copies because they'd obviously left it open for a second season. It sold absolutely nothing, and it just, they were just like, you can take
the thing is with Tales of Borderlands, it's canon as well. Characters from Tales of the Borderlands is in season Borderlands 3.
Things
like Beasts and that.
I've had Borderlands 3, but it's kind of been on my to-do list for a long time. I'm really glad they made it canon because some of the characters in it I thought were really, really good.
I think they worked with. Sorry, I was going to say I think they actually worked with Gearbox, so they to make sure it was canon and it was how they liked it. Like because they even had like some of the characters pop in, like Brick and Mordecai.
Yeah, Zero's in it quite heavily as well, I think.
Yeah.
They I'm sure they did. I'm sure there was a story about them working quite closely with somebody who was doing like storyline planning for some of Borderlands 2's DLC or something like that. That might be a lot of bollocks, so don't quote me on that, but I'm sure I remember reading that. And it worked. Like the story they told was very, very good, and as Victor said, it felt in universe to Borderlands. And it's a really good example of what Telltale could do when they really put a bit of thought and care into the license. Like the Guardians one I really enjoyed, but it's kind of like Batman, and I think they were possibly a bit constrained by the universe that they found themselves with and the story that they were able to tell within it.
Well,
it comes out a bit generic, but Borderlands they really smashed it.
With Batman, from what I heard, Enemy Within the second series is supposed to be much better. Like even I heard that the end, how you end, because I haven't played the Batman ones. How you end in the choice in Batman Season 1, it actually affects the second game, which is, I think, a first. Well, no, it's not, because Walking Dead have done it as well. Like, a certain person turns up in... things change in later games, depending on who you... Yeah, I don't want to say, obviously, because I don't spoil things. I know it's an old game, but...
I know I haven't played the Walking Dead one, so I'm happy to hear that. I've got them all through Games with Gold and stuff like that, so I need to go through them. But
They're
First one is
really good.
excellent.
I
It's
think.
I've not played 2 or 3. I've got 2, but the first one is really, really good.
yeah,
I think the second one is really good, just not as good as the first. I haven't played 3 or 4. My
Telltale?
favourite one
Oh,
is
sorry.
not the enemy, Among Us. It's
The
based
Wolf
on
Among Us?
it's based on Fables. If you've The Wolf Among Us. Sorry, not Among Us. Among Us is complete. The Wolf Among Us, based on Fables. The issue for me is that I played it after reading some of Fables. So like one of the things that happened was like, oh my god, but that character's in the comics I've been reading.
So I was just literally just before you said that, I was going to say the Wolf Among Us is a real dark horse in the kind of library, because it was I played, that was the first Telltale game I played, and it's excellent. It's really it's a good advert for their game engine. I hadn't read any of Fables before I read it. The story they've put together is really strong.
I think it's actually a genuine prequel to the Fables comic. I think it's actually like a proper in canon again there.
Good. But the character, the wolf character, is really well done. Like, and I don't know how much of that they took from the comics, because I still haven't read Fables, but I've really enjoyed that. I would put it a very close second to Tales from the Borderlands.
That's fair enough.
I'm afraid I have to go now. Buddy.
All right, Victor has to leave now because he needs his evening poopy. I will tell you that I have put more photos of Pugsley and also my mother-in-law's dog in the Discord if you want to have a look.
I'll have a look.
From the groomer. There.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you very much, Victor. Take care of yourself, man. Enjoy your poop.
And you, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Right, now he's gone, what should we say about him? I know he's still there, but still, let's pretend he's gone. Yeah, to be honest, I enjoyed Borderlands. The one I probably enjoyed the least that I played was Game of Thrones. I think I enjoyed it less than most, even though I think it's not very well liked, is because I actually don't like Game of Thrones either. So
Why did you play it?
because
See what it was like?
I just wanted to play it because like I had the game and I thought, I'll play it, something to do.
Yeah, fair enough. I was going to say, just before we kind of moved off the Wolf Among Us stuff, one thing that really gutted me actually when they went to the wall was they literally, like, the month before, I think, announced season 2 of Wolf Among Us, and it's obviously that we're going to see the light of day, which is a damn shame.
Actually, I think it's been re-announced.
Oh really?
I think so.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm not sure though. I'm now thinking, shit, am I right? I'm sure like someone else is doing it with like some of the staff maybe, or some shit like that. Let me just quickly look on the internet. Wolf Among Us 2. The Wolf Among Us 2 is an upcoming episodic graphic adventure game. It's based on the Fables series. I don't know how accurate that is though. Let's have a look. Bigby and Snow returning to untangle more. According to this, it's by Telltale Games. And Warner Brothers and Vertigo Telltale Games, it says. Coming to consoles and PC.
Oh, well.
I'm on the Telltale site. So I guess they are properly back.
Back up and running. Good. So much the better. I'm always, even if the studio releases crap games, I'm always sad to see like studios that aren't the big studios go to the wall. You know.
No, that's understandable.
Just looking at the back catalogue, like I didn't actually realise how many games they managed to release. Like there's stuff here.
You've never played the Wallace and Gromit game?
I'm more looking at
Strong Bad.
like, I didn't realise they'd published the first Jackbox for a start, but like, it's the CS, some of the CSI games, Sam and Max, which the Sam and Max games are great. Law and Order Legacies. I need to get a hold of that. Fucking love Law and Order. Game Minecraft Story Mode I didn't know about, but I don't really play Minecraft. Well, there were two of them.
But yeah, it does seem like they're back and they are making stuff. So they've reissued Monkey Island for PC. They've done re-release of Wallace and Gromit's Grand Adventure. The Wolf Among Us. Oh, see, this is in 2019, man. 2020. December 7th, 2020 at 12:01 a.m. they posted Telltale releases more of their stuff. Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people and Telltale Texas Hold'em are also reissued for PC. As well as Wallace and Gromit. So yeah, it seems like they are back and they are going to be making The Wolf Among Us 2, which is fucking amazing because I love The Wolf Among Us and I cannot wait to continue playing it. I really should get back to I bought like the graphic novels, didn't read the comics as they were coming out, but I only read like up to a certain point and then I stopped. I think I finished the first two, but I had like 3 and 4 ready to read. And it's really fucking really interesting. Have you ever heard of the show called oh shit, what was it called? I forgot what it's called all of a sudden.
I think I know where you're going to go with it because I think I've seen it.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called, but it's the same concept. Isn't it?
It's the same concept. Yeah, exactly the same. Yeah, exactly. What was that? Sorry.
It's like fairy tale characters living in a town in Maine,
Yeah.
like Robert Carlyle's in it, I think.
Yeah, he plays Rumpelstiltskin, I think.
Yes, yeah, I know exactly the show. It's this. I love that.
Once Upon a Time. See, I remembered.
That's the one.
It wasn't you, Bellion, posting it in chat. Here's me remembering it.
Pearson.
Yeah, so basically it's a very similar concept to that from what I've seen of it, but I really enjoyed the fucking comic because like Fables is a little different in that they live in a certain area and they can stay there if they look human. So like the 3 Little Pigs, for example, live on something called The Farm, and the farm is where people go who don't look human. It's still like a place to live tidy. It's not like some kind of, but they're not meant to leave. And like a bit of a spoiler for the book, the comic. You see Belle and the Beast like talking to Snow, and they kind of like upset, and he's turned back into the Beast. But because it happens every so often, and she's saying to him like, you know, if this happens again, you are going to have to go to the farm and stay there because people can't know about us.
Aye.
So yeah, it's like that's. But then I don't know anything after that. To be honest about Belle, and I don't know if her name is Belle in that, but I know her from Disney.
Yeah.
So.
The story had a very film noir kind of feel about it. If I remember, I know the game did, and I'm sure that the comic is apparently supposed to be quite noir as well, which I'm into. I think it was published under Vertigo, and it just passed me by because I
think it is a Vertigo one. Yeah,
never seem to pick them up. Like I've got 3 volumes of Sandman, and I've just never had the chance to read them.
I've read some Sandman. I like it.
Yeah, Sandman's supposed to be brilliant.
But the thing is I've read some of Sandman, and then I saw like Sandman again, and it looks like a completely different person. So I'm guessing like, I don't know what the fuck's going on there, because he looks kind of like I know the Crow in the Sandman stuff that I've read, but like when I saw it like newer issues, it was some blonde-headed guy, and I was like, is it the same person? Is it a different person? I don't know.
It's the blonde-haired guy, not Lucifer.
No, it's no. It was like a different guy on all the covers of them, like so. But Lucifer obviously is in it. I think that was when he was first introduced to it, no?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. But obviously, like, I enjoyed Sandman, and I enjoyed the other characters that popped up in it, with, like, his family and stuff, and some of them are fucking weird. All of them are weird. It's great. Dark Rula's probably thinking, stop talking about comics. We're here to talk about games, not comics.
I don't mind.
Yeah, so moving on from this topic of conversation, because we've gone away, of course, I actually wanted to just briefly mention the new PlayStation 5 controllers. It's not much news because, you know, I just wanted to mention them and say I actually like the look of them. I think the red one and the black one are very tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were mentioned. Done.
Yeah.
Have you seen them, Cora?
Nah, I've fallen out with the PS5 because I just can't get one for love nor money.
Fair enough. It's like I'm ignoring everything because it'll make me pine more.
Until I get one, until I get hold of one, I'm staying well away because I'll just get annoyed if I.
Well, Uberian said, and yet the sticks will still drift all the same. Hopefully, I can't remember who mentioned the class action lawsuit or whatever the hell it is. Hopefully, that will sort itself out and companies will use better parts and stuff again.
Hopefully.
I think
the Switch Joy-Cons.
I thought it was but I think it's to do with the parts that are used or something were used on the PlayStation as well as the Switch. So and they knew about them being fucking wonky. So I think that was the issue. I don't think the Xbox stuff was involved. I think PlayStation and Nintendo were. So don't quote me on that. Can't remember who's telling me. It might have been Victor.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know. It was someone with a voice. I know that much. So it wasn't Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Awful joke. Awful joke. I deserve to get smacked for that. Yeah, so other than that, the only other thing we were going to talk about was the Super Mario Maker competition that I'm aware of. But as you're here, Cora, is there anything that you've been playing recently that you would like to chat about, as both Dark Rula and Victor has talked about a game they've played recently?
I have been playing the living hell out of Resident Evil 8. It's been the only... I bought 5 games last week, and I was really pleased with myself because I was like, I've got money, I'm going to buy a game. And I got 4 Switch games, like new Pokemon Start, Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon Shield, and something else. Oh, Hyrule Warriors 2.
That's something else. I'm the same.
Do you know what? Like they've not even had a look in because it's just been all resi all the time. I love it. It's brilliant. Like really, really strong. It kind of builds on 7, but adds it like without getting spoilery or anything. Because if people are listening that haven't played it or whatever, then that's bad. But
people take it part who haven't played it.
Yeah. It just kind of it builds on what Resident Evil 7 set out to achieve, adds in some elements from the series which to me better the game.
Wesker's back, yay!
I would love to see Wesker, but like Wesker is Resident Evil, and this like the storyline is suitably mental. Like, see for a like all you kind of really ask for as a Resi fan is
Wesker,
you know. Wesker, a crazy ass story, and a game that a game that stands up to repeated runs through the story.
Yeah,
and I got that. I've finished it 6 times now, and it hasn't gotten old yet. So
you finished it 6 times.
Yeah,
it only came out the other day.
We did you can if you're running it to finish it. So like the first run through took about 10 hours. But every subsequent run through has only been about 2 or 3 hours, just because you can get through it a bit quicker.
Yeah, that's fair.
and I'm just kind of trying to hoover up some of the achievements and stuff on it. So
That's fair.
it's
Yeah,
been
well, the
fun.
older games were like that as well, though. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
I don't want any information about the newest one in regards to finishing the game. But like in Resident Evil 1, for example, if you finish the game quick enough without using any first aid sprays or not saving too much, something like that, you would unlock like the rocket launch and stuff, which would obviously make the next run much quicker because everything dies quickly.
Without going into spoilers, like that tradition is unchanged, which is good. So there's like still like there's still rewards for completing certain conditions within the story and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of replayability in there for me, and I'm absolutely loving it. I think it's Capcom right now are kind of like the opposite of Activision, wherein they seem to be listening, and even though they're still bringing out like massive franchise games like this and Monster Hunter and stuff like that, they're making them good, and they're using them to bankroll smaller.
They're making them good. Yeah. After the disaster that was 5 and 6.
I am still an apologist for 6. I still like it. It's decent.
I don't like it very much I think it's quite meh, but I will admit that it was an entertaining game to play in a way, and definitely stream it, because me and Jasm played through it like years ago now, before he was even streaming, and we had such a fucking laugh playing through it. Like, everyone was having fun. I remember there was one scene where the plane crashed or something, and the way it happened was just really fucking dodgy, and Jasm just burst out fucking laughing at the plane crashing.
Yeah, the game is insane. It's like an action movie ramped up to 11.
Isn't it?
But it's a 7 as a game. Like, it's a 7 out of 10 game. And Resi 5 is probably a 7 out of 10 game, and those are the worst 2 games in the main franchise by a distance. And the problem that they've got is that they were being compared to Resident Evil 4, which is a top tier like action horror game, and they could never live up to that, and they went a bit too bombastic.
Yeah.
And there are problems with them. They're not perfect games or anything like that, but they're enjoyable. They're really good to co-op, and just like, they are the kind of runts of the litter of Resident Evil, but I wouldn't say they're bad games. 7 and 8 pull the franchise back to what it kind of should be, which is horror with action elements, rather than action with horror, like a couple of horror elements. I really rate them.
I recently was speaking to Cumberdanes. He's another streamer, for those who don't know. And he was saying that he was playing through Resi 5, he was playing it in single player, and he said he was getting, like, a lot of the time he'd end up dying because Sheather was doing something that she shouldn't have been doing, or she wouldn't pick certain things up, and he'd have to do things to, it just sounds like a fucking ball ache. I didn't mind playing through them in co-op, because like I've said before, you can kind of have a laugh more about things because you've got someone to do it with.
Yeah. And the thing is, as well, like I played through it, like 5 and 6 are made as co-op games. Like they are intended to be co-op games, and they didn't put, for 5 especially, they didn't put enough time or effort into the co-op characters' AI counterpart. They didn't really think that people would be playing them, I don't think, solo. And I've only played 5 on co-op. I went through it on professional with Park Reiner, if you remember him.
Yeah.
And we went through that in co-op, and it was brilliant. It was a lot of fun. It was hard, but it was a lot of fun. In 6, they actually fixed a lot of the AI, but by that point, nobody cared because they were just like, "Well, this is not a good Resident Evil game." And the other thing I always kind of say about those two is that they suffer really hard because the series as a whole is so strong. Like the remake of 1, 2, 3, 4. All games that I've seen people put in their all-time top 10 game.
Resident Evil, the remake of Resident Evil 1 is my favourite Resident Evil game.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you.
It is so fucking good.
It is the absolute peak of horror gaming for me. And I have yet to see a game that will come close to unseating that. 2 is probably my favourite nostalgic game for the kind of memory, like the original 2. The memories of playing through it the first time and stuff like that. But the remake is like top tier gaming. And when you're releasing games in a franchise that are going to be compared back to that, and like a game that's still 20 years after, 19 years after it came out, still looks good enough to be released with, you know, minimal changes on modern consoles. Like, they're always going to suffer in comparison to that, if that makes sense.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
still very passable. But with all of that said, 7 and more so 8, I think, are real form games for the series. I think they sit in that kind of tier just below the top tier. And I'm excited for the future of the franchise, having played it as well. Like there's a couple of things in there that, you know, they can bring in for Resi 9 and or whatever they want to do with it, and it could really work. And again, like the story by this point, the lore of Resident Evil is nonsense. It's always been nonsense, and as long as you lean into that, you'll get a real kick out of it, I think. Are you going to be getting it? Are you going to get it and play through it, Pedz?
I am, but I want to finish Resi 7 first.
You should get back to it. 7, I was very unsure about 7 when I went into it, because I was like, oh, first person. The Resi's not first person. And then I went into it, so that was brilliant.
Yeah, my issue wasn't anything like that. It was because I was streaming. I was like, oh, I'll set up a goal to stream it in VR, and I never hit the goal. So I'm just like, well, people clearly don't want to watch it, so why bother? I'll play something else.
You should definitely. I would definitely watch you streaming through the normal game. I'm really interested to see how people find 7.
Play it in VR on the PlayStation 4, innit?
Oh, that would be insane. Like I'd probably shat my pants multiple times in VR. I've heard people say that it's genuinely the most fearful they've ever been.
Oh, well, maybe I won't then. Not selling it.
I've heard that they obviously developed it with VR in mind, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, like when you play it just as a normal game, some of the stuff's a wee bit hokey. But it still has enough of that Resident Evil about it. It's still got enough of that like tense atmosphere and stuff that it's still a solid 8 or 9 out of 10 game, I think. So you should definitely play through it.
Yeah. Rula, what's your take on Resi? Have you played Resident Evil 8 at all? Do you even like Resident Evil?
I tend to stay away from any horror-based stuff.
Right. That's fair enough, I guess. Is there a reason for that? Like, I know some people, they don't mind watching like horror films and stuff, but I think they get more immersed in playing a game, so it's scarier in a sense, because they obviously know the game is going to hurt them. I'm not saying that's the case for you. I'm just saying, like, where you're so immersed in it, it's something that, you know, you feel uncomfortable with. Is that the reason, or is it just you just don't really like horror stuff?
Well,
in general,
kind of what you were saying, yeah, in that just getting more into it, kind of. Well, in a way, it's more that any kind of horror just makes me a bit, you know, kind of feeling.
Yeah, I get you. Totally.
Yeah, like it's not a genre everybody's going to be interested in. At the end of the day, it's quite niche. And,
yeah,
you know,
I guess there's some that like kind of horror stuff, games, film. I guess there's some that kind of break the normal trend of being like kind of not mainstream enough. Like there's certain ones you just hear about, like The Exorcist, and like for example films, and Blair Witch Project everyone went fucking mental over before. Still haven't seen it. Played the game and enjoyed it. Blair Witch. I've never seen the film. Just Never appealed to me. I don't like documentary style filming. It makes me feel queasy or something. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. Normally.
All of the kind of copy films that came, because obviously Blair Witch kind of created the found footage thing, or at least popularised it. And then a million films came out, and I saw all of those films, and then watched Blair Witch and was just like, this is crap. But I imagine if I'd seen it in '99 or whenever it came out, it would have been a much different.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like where people say about like Citizen Kane and stuff, like, you know, everything have been done and bettered since then, but that was the start of it. So like you go back and watch it, and you can see the influences it's had, but you're not going to enjoy it as much because you've seen those things so many times. But then again, I watched 12 Angry Men the other day, the other month, and I've said this on the podcast several times. I thought it was fucking brilliant, and that was just 12 guys in a room being dicks to each other.
12 Angry Men has not aged at all. It is absolutely totally. And Drumstick, who sometimes listens to this podcast, he is a massive fan of 12 Angry Men, and he put me onto it like many years ago. It is a phenomenal film, and it's rightly kind of up there with the absolute great. I get this weird thing with like comedy stuff. So like,
you watch too much Adam Sandler films?
I know. There's like stuff that people regard as classic comedy. So like, I went back and tried to watch Only Fools and Horses fairly recently, and was like, this sucks. And it's if I'd watched that in the 80s when it was originally airing, I would absolutely think it was one of the finest sitcoms of all time. But because all of the jokes that it innovated have been done since and done, you know, better and with a more modern spin, I'm just looking back and thinking, this is dull. Like there's nothing here for me to enjoy.
There's a lot of stuff back then that I really enjoyed. Like, I enjoyed that. So many shows.
But I'm like that with like Monty Python and stuff like that as well. It's like these things clearly innovated and they're clearly excellent. But I can't go back and watch it now because I know what all the punchlines are going to be because other people are following them. And that's bad. That's no fault of the original source material. It's just me, I think.
It's because you don't like John Cleese.
Yeah, I don't like him at all, actually. But that's great.
The thing is, I actually did watch Holy Grail not that long ago for the first time. And I did enjoy it. I thought it was genuinely funny. Yeah. Matt's saying he's bored. Oh, great, we boring Matt. Thanks, Matt.
Actually, I didn't realise it was nearly 10:30. I'm going to need to pop off shortly just because I think my wife's going to be going to bed.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll head off end soon, I think. What I was going to say is something, but I've forgotten. There's certain films that I think you could still enjoy. But I don't know, it's obviously, it depends on how much you watch of certain things and then you go back.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If anyone, how long have we got, guys, before we're going to end? Because I want to see if people have questions, that's all.
Ooh, no idea.
Do you want to ask any questions in chat? See if there's any questions, or if you two have any questions. Obviously, you two in the actual Discord right now talking. If anyone has a question for anyone or the group, feel free, ask anything you want. Well, Matt is saying, sorry, he didn't actually mean us. He just feels restless. This is because he wants to get on Dark Souls 3. So if he wants to jump on, I'll raid him as soon as we're done.
Oh, good call, actually, yeah. It's been good watching him go through it. I've only been lurking in it, but it's nice to see him back up and streaming kind of regularly again.
At GRcade, why are you so boring? Because we
suck.
Because we are not entertaining for the simple fact that we are normal, everyday human beings.
Yep.
Please can Cora sing us a song, his favourite from Rock Band?
I will defer you to a Rock Band stream I am planning next week.
Oh, Matt. Matt is not streaming tonight. That isn't a question, Matt.
Disappointed. Not angry, I'm just disappointed.
I know. Ah, well. Well, GRcade UK did your son's... Yes, it did come back clear, but he has to go back down Monday for re-examining of some kind to make sure that they hadn't missed anything. But his wrist doesn't seem too bad now. He seems to be complaining a lot more about his elbow. So I'm wondering if that's why his arm was... Because he was saying he was getting shooting pains from his wrist to his elbow. I'm wondering if it was his elbow he damaged and not his wrist.
He's maybe done a tendon or something like that. That sounds wrong. I'm sorry to hear it.
Yeah. What day and time will the stream be?
Is that to me? Or?
Yeah, I'm assuming he's asking you about Rock Band.
It'll probably be Tuesday at about 5ish.
There you go. And I would join you and show you everyone how good I am at singing, but the kids are up, so they'll just annoy you by talking.
Oh, they can come in and annoy us. That's fine.
Damn it.
I've increased my Rock Band library by about 250 songs in the last 6 weeks or so, through various nefarious means.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we've got Stevie Wonder, we've got all sorts of crazy shit on there now.
Awesome. That sounds really cool. It's a shame. I was listening to a song I haven't heard for many, many years. I think it's called Joy, Invention, Discovery. Listening to that the other day, I was like, damn, I remember this song. It was so good. And it was actually you who introduced me to the song.
What's the song?
Joy, Invention, Discovery? Joy, Discovery, something like that.
Christ, what's the name of the band? Worrying or something the song's called? Joy, Invention, Discovery?
No, it's by Biffy Clyro.
Oh, yeah, I know it.
That song, really good.
I kind of come in and out of it a lot of the time because they're Rangers supporters, but I still love them.
They're annoying talking about better than you're singing. Oh, Matt, when I used to do the Twitch sing streams, I had so many people watching me, not a single person complimented me.
You're singing the screen. You were a perfectly good singer on Twitch things. Bearing in mind that doing karaoke always that you always sound worse, or you always feel like you sound worse doing karaoke.
No,
and
just
singers. You can hold a tune. Like that's all anyone can ask of a stream where you sing. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Well,
no.
I know what I heard.
Well, no one heard me singing fucking My Way because I put it on, and for some reason, even though the song was playing and no one could hear me, no one fucking said. So I had to knock it off, and my mic was muted the entire fucking song. Why? I'm fucking serious. There was loads of people there, and not a single person said, "Yo, Pedz, your mic is muted." I was like, what?
That's bad.
I don't know. I guess they wanted to just laugh at me for being a prat. And I genuinely thought I sang much better on that song than any other song I did that day. I got really into it, even though I didn't really know the words properly. Because the most I've listened to My Way is by Sid Vicious. And even then, the only lyrics I remember is "Today I killed a cat," and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. The record shows he took the blows. Right, so, I'm gonna have to pop off, guys.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it's time to end. There's no more questions coming through from the chat. So yeah, we're gonna end it here. It's been a pleasure having you guys on, and a pleasure having Victor on, who was left already. Again, it's nice to see people in chat enjoying the stream, the podcast, except for Matt, who's clearly bored. Thank you everyone for popping in. It seriously, You're all a bunch of wonderful people. And with that saying, we're going to end. Don't forget, guys, we're a community channel. Dark Rula, it streams on Twitch. Just twitch.tv/Dark Rula. Cora streams on Twitch, which is it Dark Rula or Dark_Rula?
No, Dark Rula.
It is Dark Rula. Cora streams on Twitch as Retro Cora, so twitch.tv/Retro Cora. And then I stream on Twitch and it's Pedz P3DZ. But don't forget, this is a community channel. We are all from the forum, GRcade. Please check out the forum at grcade.co.uk, at GRcade on Twitter. And yeah, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Rula, and also you, Cora.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. And take care, everyone. We are heading off. Bye-bye.
That went well.